All right, good morning and welcome everybody to the Game Dev Show. Today we've got quite a few topics to talk about, and I may end up being alone. So this might just be a nice, fun chat with everybody in the audience who's here with us live. We've got a couple of topics that I sent out in email that I want to go over, and something really exciting that I'm hoping will be ready sometime during the stream that we can dive into. That's with that 3D text generation. There's actually a link down in the description, I think you can click to go sign up for that. I want to try out the 3D text to model generation stuff. It's kind of like the next version of AI to do, creating 3D art instead of just 2D stuff. I've been using the 2D art generation nonstop. So I'm really excited about the 3D part. All right, so let's I guess just get started. Say hello to everybody. If you're here with me live, please hit the thumbs up button and say hello in chat. Let me know. And if you have questions and you want to drop them into chat, I'll start watching for them and start kind of queuing them up, and we'll dive into them relatively soon. So let me pull up my email real quick with the list of topics that I wanted to talk about today. Um, oh, it was the first one on here was really with this Solace Vision stuff. So I'm going to do a quick screen share, talk a little bit about the first topic, and then we'll just dive through all of them. And then I think I'll just go into chat and hang out with everybody and have some fun conversations. So let's see if I can find the first screen. Let's see, is that it? Gotta make sure I get the correct one here. I'm gonna get a Chrome window, and it's gonna be that one right here. So this is the thing that I'm most excited about today. I'm in their Discord watching. It looks like they're still working on getting the servers up, but it's this 3D text to 3D model generation. You can see they've got a little example here on their webpage where they create a new project. It looks like they're like a little mini Cybertruck. They type in a prompt and then get back a 3D model. Let's just see it real quick. Kind of watch it. They type in that they want a truck with a long hood, and then they get back a truck with a long hood that's a 3D model. And I think this is going to be kind of the future of 3D stuff eventually. It's been like that for 2D. I think that AI is going to slowly start replacing or improving, or I say replacing and improving, but really it's just going to kind of streamline the workflows for developers. They're not going to have as many artists working on as much stuff when it comes to 2D stuff. And I think the same is going to happen with 3D. But if there are a lot of people who are artists that are really worried about this too and think like, oh, this is terrible. What about when it happens to programmers? I think that that's probably likely to happen too. That programming eventually is going to go the same route that everything else will. I think that it's going to start with the bigger stuff, the smaller things, the things that are easy to kind of do to do one-offs where you have these little things in a box that you can share and push around like 2D art files, 3D art, but it's not going to be very long before we get into full-on just games and code and everything being generated. All right, so let's see. Oh, yes, somebody asked if Game Dev Guild is a topic. That is another one of the topics. So actually, it's not in my email here. Let's just talk a little bit about that real quick. So Game Dev Guild is coming up in May. So we've got GDC is coming up in March. It's the in-person game developer conference. This is something somewhat similar, but totally unrelated and just similar. It's a totally online conference where we focus on really actionable stuff for game developers. So talking about things that you can use in your day-to-day life, like new code systems, new design patterns, old design patterns, old systems, tips and tricks, ways to use new technologies that you don't need a whole lot of other people for. So it's focused on stuff that solo and small team developers can use primarily instead of things that AAA developers are using. So it's not necessarily like the super bleeding edge ray tracing type stuff that you're going to be getting into, but you'll be getting into the practical. Here's how you use URP in your game type stuff, or here's how you use the networking libraries in your game and do it properly. More of that kind of stuff. So right now we are still looking for a few speakers. We've got a lot of speaker submissions, but I want to make sure that we get all of the best talks possible. So we're looking for a few submissions on game architecture, game design, clean coding practices, cool tips and tricks, or new systems. The UI toolkit be a great one. I think that's one that I'm still kind of searching for somebody to speak on. So if you're interested in speaking at the conference, please check the description. I'll put a link in the description so you can go submit a talk. And if you're not interested in speaking, just want to come, just go sign up with your email and stuff. We are going to have, I believe, a completely free option. So there'll be a way for people to come attend and get a lot of this info for free. So just make sure that you're signed up on the email list, and you get all of the info about all of the options as they kind of come up. And that should be in the next it's going to be early next month. So in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll start to have a lot of info coming out about that. We're just kind of finalizing speaker stuff and schedules and all that. All right, the other stuff I wanted to talk about. Oh, awesome new Kickstarter. So another streamer who's always on Twitch has just released a Kickstarter for a game Strain, and it is looking very cool. I was really impressed when I saw how much she's done on this game just on her own. It's freaking amazing to work as a solo developer and building out a full-on survival game that looks cool and just seems pretty damn interesting. So I think you should check it out. Go check out her Twitch channel too. I've linked it down below, and maybe we should hop on the stream sometime and come talk about it. I don't want to share too much about it, so I'm gonna see if I can get her on to just kind of talk about the game and the project sometime and not spoil too much beforehand. What else did I have on my list of stuff? Oh, the Lunar New Year bundle is going on right now too. So if you've been on the asset store, you've probably seen the pop-ups. Let's see if it's here. There's a couple different things in the asset store or the asset store bundle that looked pretty cool, but it's mostly sci-fi stuff. So you can see there's a worm, some UI sprite or some 2D sprite shaders, and the sci-fi kit. But I don't think anybody's getting just the $30 or the $39. It doesn't really make any sense to get any of them except for I think the $44 version, because you're ending up with triple the amount of stuff for a tiny little bit more. This Warrior Mega Pack is pretty cool. It's full of animations, and there's lots of other cool stuff on here. I don't know, try to sell you on it, but just make sure that you know that the pack is up here. And I think they might be doing another one. I'm not completely sure how that works. If they're doing one bundle or two bundles. Maybe somebody in chat knows though, if they have some other bundles going on. Let me know if you happen to know. So let me check out the chat real quick. Oh, Solace Vision. It says somebody say it just went up. Let's go check it out. Solace Vision, are you up and open? Log in. No. Is it? I'm loading it right now. So I'll let me screen share real quick. This is what I'm seeing right now. So it still says coming soon for creating a project. I expect it's going to pop up soon. They said that they're working on the update. The servers were down earlier and they're doing some updates to it. It looks like they're still trying to get it up and out, but hopefully it'll be done sometime this morning, maybe while we're still on stream, because I really want to dive in and try creating some 3D characters and all that and see, or not even necessarily characters, but even just props. Like if I can just generate rocks at first, that'll be cool. And then I want to generate some other stuff, like being able to type in, generate whatever I want. I don't know. I'm just kind of excited about it. I think that it's kind of the future of, well, probably the future of creative development. It's not all the way here, but it's definitely happening. Oh yes, so it looks like a main start calling out the Lanalex chat. Yeah, it's definitely a very cool stream. I would say go check it out. Go check out her stream because she seems to go through the process of building out the whole game. I didn't realize she was doing this much until I think it was last week when I found out the Kickstarter was coming. I was really shocked. So it's very cool stuff. So someone here, let's read this question. It says, as someone getting into VR development, you talked about spending a few years on VR and releasing a few small games. What's the ultimate reason you stopped? Was it that you were too early for VR? Well, there are a couple of reasons I stopped. One was that I was just kind of interested in working on a different type of project. So I built a bunch of VR projects, and I built through a lot of the like interesting ideas and kind of cool thoughts that I had. I did all the prototypes and experimented with them. And I didn't have a whole lot of cool, fun, interesting ideas that I hadn't tried out yet that I wanted to do. But two, I also really wanted to work on a different type of game. And when I stopped working on VR, I started working on an MMO project for a while, and then started doing totally different stuff. So it wasn't necessarily anything specific to VR that got me to stop working on it. It was more just other things popped up that were interesting. And I did do a lot of VR development, spent many years doing primarily VR stuff and wearing a headset for quite a while. So I, yeah, just kind of been there, done that, had a lot of fun. I still like it. I still like doing VR stuff every now and then. It's just not something that I spend a whole ton of time with anymore. I probably will get back into it soon. I actually tried to order the Quest Pro when that came out, when they had the pre-orders for it, but I kept having constant issues with the order. They kept I would put it in order, it would say it was good, they were going to ship it, and then like 2 hours later, I'd get a notification saying that my order was rejected and that the payment info failed or something else. It was some weird problem that didn't make any sense. I tried like multiple payment stuff or setups and just trying to get it shipped. And after like third or fourth time, I gave up. And probably one day soon, I'll end up ordering one and kind of diving back in and see what kind of cool stuff we can do with it. So, what other questions we have? We got a question about the Hollow table. So the Tilt 5 table, that is actually going pretty good. I've got it set up now in my office. I've actually got a totally separate spot for it where it's all set up, and you can play it and run a couple games on it. And I was going to do a video or two about it really soon, but I need to set up I need to pull my laptop out there and set up the camera for the AR shot. Let me you know what, maybe I can hop out there and show everyone. I mean, nobody else is in the stream, so I can always just join from my phone and we can walk around and show everybody what that hologram setup looks like. So I think it's really cool. I really wish I had it set up and actually running though with the AR. Let me see. Start with Studio. It's gonna be a weird stream. I'm gonna be on here twice. All right, let's see. Jason Weimann, and I will enter again. I'm. All right, we'll turn our volume down. Somehow I'll figure out how to mute. I lied. I won't. All right, let's switch real quick. All right, hopefully everybody can see this. I think so. Okay, cool. So the hologram setup. Oh, okay, let's kick out the desktop here. If you can't see, let me know. But all right, look, it looks like everybody can see in chat. So we'll walk out of the office spot. There's everybody who's curious what the messy office looks like. There it is. And the holograms come out. They are over there. So there's actually a full table set up for them now. And you just pop on these little glasses. You plug them into the phone or laptop. I usually use the laptop for it because I'm doing actual development on it. And then the holograms just kind of pop out of that table right there. So you just see them kind of popping out and playing. And it's definitely a lot of fun. So anybody that wanted to see the rest of the office, you can kind of get a quick 360 peek of stuff. And I'm going to get myself busy, and then we'll jump back down into the desk. Oh, here, let's pop in on the kid. There you go. No, he won't even know he was on the stream. All right. Let's see. Let's switch back over real quick. Zoom in on the logo. All right, there we go. Oh, cool. So, I forgot where I was. Oh, it's like people like The Office. Thanks. Yeah, it's relatively big. There's lots of space to do lots of different recording stuff that I've got planned and going on. Somebody asked how much is the hologram table thing. It's actually it's relatively cheap. It's the glasses that are expensive. The glasses were, and they're not expensive. Like I think it was $300 for the glasses with the board. And the table itself isn't like a full on device. It's actually like this little board that unfolds on top of the table. I just got a table that matched exactly with the size of that board. It was 32 inches by 32 inches. So I put it straight on top, and then it actually lined up perfectly. So those boards are cheap. I think they're like $30, but the glasses were, I think, around 300. And those are the Tilt 5 ones. Oh, and somebody asked Alan asked if we use the roll up mat. I have not tried that yet. I didn't actually know they had a roll up mat. I have the folding one that goes up against the wall, and then the flat one, but I did not know there was a rolling one. I'll have to check that out. Um, let's see what else we got here. Oh, is this home office or company office? This is actually a separate office from my home office now. She needed a little bit more space. I got a lot of babies at home, and I had to give up my home office for a baby. All right, definitely. Please send me over that roll up mat. I want to check that out. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Simpsons Arcade. Yeah, somebody modded theirs. Yeah, really like that one. It was on clearance on Black Friday too. A lot of those on clearance. All right, let's go through there. It looks like there was a big four-part question. So I want to read through it and see what it says and see if we have an answer. So it says, hello, one of four, kind of long question. I've been a hobbyist game dev for quite some time now. Over the past couple years, I've accumulated quite a large library of all kinds of assets, probably around 2 terabytes from all kinds of sources. I recently formed a small team to work on a serious project, and I'd like to figure out which of my gathered assets we could use. Since I practically don't know every asset I own in particular, it's hard to determine which assets could fit into the game. And they're just pushing everything into the project repository. Of course, it's definitely not going to be a good idea. So there's something you could recommend to help us filter through the entire library. There actually is. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there's an asset on the asset store that you can use that will allow you to search through all of your owned assets. It uses, if you have them all locally stored, I don't know if it works for those, but it works for the assets that you have on the asset store, and it'll actually allow you to search through them and find them. I think it's called like Asset Hunter or something. Maybe somebody in chat knows. Outside of that, I don't. There's probably another tool. I can't think of another one. I think that asset hunting tool was the only. Jason Story knew of a good tool that he was using to organize art files too, but I cannot remember what the name of that one was either. Generally, when I'm making an actual game, though, I find that most of the time the stuff that I'm using, like the art files that I've got already saved off, they don't necessarily like actually match up for the game that I'm using. A lot of time I'm using them as placeholders and stuff until we get full final art, or if there is something that really fits well, I just kind of remember it and know. But having a whole bunch of stuff locally that you have to search through, I don't have a good solution to that. I don't know. I'm curious if anybody in chat has something though. And there's a mention, be careful of where you got the assets and licensing issues, because if you buy stuff under one account, it might not be licensed. That's another thing. You also want to make sure that the place that you got it from is actually legit too. Because I know I've bought art assets from websites online and then had a cease and desist from them because those places that were selling them, I didn't realize were selling them illegally and didn't have rights to sell them, even though they were selling them at a pretty high price. So you got to be careful for that too. That's one of the reasons I like the asset store. I feel like it gives me a little bit of extra security there. What else we got here? I'm legitimately considering moving from corporate dev to game dev, but not gonna lie, people say the pay cut is considerable and talks about crunch and stuff I hear scare me. So that can be the case, but it's definitely not necessarily the case. You don't have to take a pay cut to go into game development, and you certainly don't have to have a company that's got bad crunch problems. Most of the game companies that I've been at, in fact, pretty much all of them, didn't really have bad crunch issues. There were a couple people who had crunch problems themselves, but that wasn't like widespread throughout the company. It's not something that you didn't necessarily have to worry about. I wouldn't really worry about it generally. I mean, you can talk to the developers when you're interviewing there, but I would say that that's not nearly as big of a problem. When it comes to the pay, it's really about just negotiating that from the start. Like when you get in there and you've got no game development experience and you start off just like, hey, I like video games, I want to come do stuff. That's how you end up getting paid very, very low amounts of money because you've got no experience and you're just kind of desperate to get in there. But if you already have development experience, you're already able to write code and you're able to write your game dev code on the side, assuming that you've been doing it as a hobby for a while. Um, you should be able to negotiate a similar or even better salary than what you find in a lot of corporate dev. I think one of the other problems is that sometimes people compare the game dev salaries to a Silicon Valley stock invested salary, where you're like comparing it against Meta or Google or somewhere where they're giving you a couple $100,000 a year in stock plus a couple $100,000 a year in salary, but they're in an area where a small little condo is going to cost you $1 million or more, and a house is way outside your price range. So if you compare it to a normal development job, you're going to find that the pay isn't really any lower, and a lot of the time it's generally better for programmers. When you're not doing programming stuff, doing design and stuff, it's going to be lower, obviously. But actual programming jobs, they don't generally pay less, and they don't generally have a lot of crunch. At least not in my experience. I would recommend just go. I mean, there's no harm in just going out there and interviewing and trying to like look at some positions. If you're already doing corporate dev stuff, just apply for them in your spare time. Go check it out and see if there's something that makes sense that you can take. And that's what I would do. Just keep looking while you're still working in your corporate job. See if you find something that you like even more. Once you do, you'll find that corporate stuff feels easier. At least for me, I felt that corporate stuff felt way easier after doing game dev stuff. And it's easy to kind of bounce back and forth. Corporate stuff feels easier on the technical code side, but not so much on the environment and corporate management and getting through all the meeting side. That part's much harder. So you find that game dev is a lot more relaxing on that part. The meetings are more fun and stuff, but the code problems tend to be a little bit more complicated, but more fun to solve in my experience. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Go through. Oh, Humble Bundle. Oh, somebody mentioned Humble Bundle and Unity Asset Store sometimes have some ripped off stuff. That is true. Sometimes you're gonna find people that sneak through things that they don't have a license for. So you got to be kind of careful. I don't know what sound effects bundle they're talking about there, though. Let's see what else we've got in here for questions. Can you suggest source or OOP? Oh, so here's a good question. So a question about design patterns for Unity. Now, when it comes to like specifically Unity, there's really not a whole lot out there. There's actually a book. Actually, let me find the link real quick. There's an ebook that we're talking about yesterday that Dan shared. I'm gonna pull it up. Let me find it. And it was literally about solid principles in Unity. There it is. Here, I'm gonna grab his video and I'll just let's see. Drop this over here. Drop the video over there too. Okay. So they've got this ebook right here on solid principles. And here, let's just drop that in chat. So I would check this out. It's got design pattern stuff for Unity specifics. And if you're looking for Unity specific stuff, I think this is one of the few things that you're going to find. There's also this. Dan did a little video about it because they reference his talk there. But there's also the game programming patterns book, which is not in Unity and it's not C sharp. You'll see that the examples are in C++, but it's still the same thing. You'll still see that the code is almost the same, slightly different syntax, but it's a really well written book, and you can even get a physical copy of it. I have a copy of it that I just look at on occasion, and you can go through the entire thing completely free on gameprogrammingpatterns.com. Here, let me drop a link. Oh, good. Look, somebody else is going to recommend and share the same book. So I would go check this book out and go check out that ebook that just linked them both there. I'll try to get them both into the description as well. And go check out Dan's talk on solid principles in Unity too. That was from, I think, Unite 2017. So that's, yeah, those are probably the best things I would recommend. I also have a series on solid principles in Unity that I'm thinking about refreshing. It's a little bit old, but still completely applies. Just the editor's a little bit old. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? I started working on Fiverr as a game developer and completed a few game projects successfully, but I have no idea how to price games. How much can I charge for a full game creation like Flappy Bird? Well, it's a good question. The price that you can charge for a game is obviously going to vary drastically based on how big the game is and how big the studio's budget is that wants to make the game. For something like a simple Flappy Bird, I'm thinking you're probably not going to be able to charge too much. Maybe in the hundreds to $1,000 at most, because Flappy Birds is the kind of thing that I mean I can teach a fifth grader to make it in a day. A developer could build a couple of those in a day. But if you're building something slightly more complex, I've seen prices anywhere from a couple $100s to tens of thousands. I think the most that I've seen paid on not on Fiverr, but on Upwork for a game dev project was around like $20,000, and that was a reasonable size one that went on for two. I think it was probably about 2 months, and it was a full kind of complete, smaller but a full on like VR game. It still had to have lots of work after that, but I'd say that's probably like at the top end. Um, there's lots of room in there to grow. It's mostly just gonna depend on how much time it takes and how much time you're saving that development company. Usually, just estimate that you're gonna wanna bill anywhere from 25 to $150 an hour, depending on how long you've been doing the game development and how long it's gonna take to build the progress or the actual application. And then kinda calculate that out, add in a little bit of extra. That's what I would do. Like, figure out what your estimate is, add in a 20 to 50% buffer, and as long as that's not out overpricing and getting you so that you're losing all of your bids, go to something like that. It's kind of hard. I'm not definitely not the best at pricing, but I've seen some relatively big prices on bigger projects. But usually on Upwork, not so much on Fiverr. On Fiverr, things seem to cap out around like $1,000. There's definitely some more that go higher, but I don't see as many big things on there. All right, what else we got here? Do you do sport? No. Yeah. I did walk a long way yesterday because I accidentally locked myself out of the office, though. I guess that maybe that counts. What programs do you use for creating sprites and models and other stuff? The only ones that I use now are the AI tools. So I use AI generation for 2D art, like concept art, background stuff, primarily concepts though. So I can generate concepts, send them over to artists, and get really cool stuff. I found that it's been amazing for that. So let me see. I think I saw a message about that Solace Vision coming up. I want to check and see if that's the case or if I misread that. Oh, nope, not yet. Doesn't look like it yet, at least. Let me go double check. Just want to make sure because I think that is probably the most exciting thing coming today. Ah, it's still not up. Okay. What else we got here for questions? By the way, has anybody here been using AI art for other stuff? If you have, and just let me know. I'm curious if there's like other, or if there's other cool AI stuff. I've been using Chat GPT for generating small bits of code, ideas and other stuff, and Midjourney a ton for generating concepts and stuff. I'm curious if there's other stuff that people have been doing. Okay, what do we got here? I do wonder if I use AI art and release an indie game, would artists try to burn me alive? I mean, somebody is gonna try to burn you alive no matter what. I wouldn't worry about it. Just use your AI art. Nobody's gonna know or care. Yeah, and realistically, I feel like it's going to be kind of the way of the future. It's just like I think of it a lot like the way I thought of digital art. When digital stuff started coming out and digital photography came out, I knew photographers who are like, "Oh, this is nonsense. This is terrible. Like, real photography is all that you should have, and you got to go, do your oh, what the hell is it? You got to. I can't even get my words right, but they had to go make their pictures. Why can't I think of the word now? Somebody knows it. I know the word. But yeah, go in the dark room and all that stuff, or hand painting and drawing stuff by hand. And when it turned into digital stuff and people using Cintiqs, there were a large number of people who were opposed to it. Um, dark room stuff, yeah. So you can see it's one of those things. Yeah, develop the pictures. That's the word can't get my words out. So there are a lot of people that are going to be opposed to it at first, but I think that in the future, in the near future, it's going to start to get integrated into the art tools. The artists will start to take advantage of AI stuff to make their job easier, and then eventually it's going to be something that you don't have to be as skilled to be an artist and to make cool stuff. A better artist will of course make better stuff, but I think that it's going to bring that level down so you don't have to be great, just like it did for photography. I can take a beautiful picture on my phone and know absolutely nothing about all of the technical stuff that's going on there. I feel like it's going to be the same for art, and then eventually, like I said, it's going to happen for code. It's going to happen for a lot of things, so be ready for it. I'm already seeing it for like document writing services and that kind of stuff. I know a couple people who are having documents written and they were paying to have documents written, and now they're AI generating them because they get a better result and it's even faster. So I think it's definitely worth knowing about and using. Joseph asked if I will incorporate use of AI into any courses in the future. That's funny because I actually recorded a lesson on using AI art for concepts and backgrounds yesterday for an upcoming course thing that I'm hoping to release or kind of open up on Monday. I haven't announced it completely yet because I'm still a bunch of baby stuff going on and things kind of messing with my schedule, but it's going to be a live boot camp running through February and part of March, maybe through the end of March, depending on timing with GDC. But I'm going to announce all of the info hopefully Monday and put up the page. Everybody will be able to see it. Existing students should get an email with how to get in and all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully Monday. And AI for art and stuff. And also, there's a section in there on how to use AI for code for the things that I actually use it for, like typically game math, the stuff that like I'm like I don't really know the math or the formula for that. I type it in and I get a nice little bit back that explains it. Like, oh, okay, this is cool. So there's some of that in there as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? What do you recommend if I don't have access to the AI stuff? Get access to it. It's free. Midjourney's free. You can use it for free, up to 250 generations. Chat GPT is free. I'm not sure if you can't get access to those on the free stuff, then probably fix your internet or find the links. Let me just drop the links in here too. It could just be they just don't know where it is. So chat.openai.com is the chat GPT one, and midjourney.com is the one for AI image generation. There are other options. There's people talking about stable diffusion stuff and some of the other alternatives. You can definitely do all that, but these are the two easiest to use. You just kind of click log in. If you have Discord, you can log into Midjourney, and if you have Google, you can log into OpenAI without creating any new accounts. So let's see. Have you used InWorld for AI-based character generation? I have not, and I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to check it out right now. InWorld AI generation. Drag that over so you can see it. I haven't seen this one at all. So create more realistic, believable characters powered by AI. Oh, let's chat with an AI character and see what that's like. Let's go pick. Let's pick Grandpa Rick. We'll sign in. I have no idea what this is. Hopefully, Grandpa Rick's nice. I don't want sound on or a microphone. Oh no, this is the wrong Rick. Okay, now I realize this is Grandpa Rick and Morty. Okay. So he just talks shit the whole time. Do you want to explore the eerie forests or investigate the mysterious temple? What's up with temple? The old dusty, sticky-looking temple. Interesting. What is that? Let's ask it some weird questions like, why would I go to the temple? I'm curious how knows. Okay, it's full of ancient secrets. Oh no, I haven't tried this, so this seems kind of interesting. How do you integrate this in? I wonder. What's avatar chat? Yeah, that's gonna pop up the character or something. Oh, yep. Yeah. And make them do an animation. Interesting. So I wonder how you do the integration with the system. I have not seen this yet. AI.inworld developer SDKs. It looks like there's a Unity SDK. Download the Unity integration package. Drop it in. Does the lip syncing and movement. Interesting. Create your experience. Yeah, where's the part about how do you give it the data on what's going on? I'm curious, like how you train it now. Hopefully, there's not too much going on in chat because I've been totally missing it just looking through this. This is definitely curious. So let's see. Let's go out of the Unity tutorial real quick. Go back out of the SDKs. Create a character. So we'll sign up. All right, we'll agree to some terms and not watch. Do I want to watch the video? No, I don't want to watch a 5-minute video yet. We'll just hit next a couple times and let's just go with the game master. Edit. Okay, here we go. So core description. Okay, and then you fill out all of this info here. Personality, emotions, facts, and knowledge. Okay, this is starting to make sense. No, I had not seen this. This actually does look kind of neat though, and I could totally see this being kind of the core of some NPCs in the game, or just a system you could use to make interesting NPCs without having to actually write all of that script. Because normally with that all of that dialogue and stuff, there's somebody who's like got this big giant document with all this story crap that they've written, and there's some other designers that are going in and like loosely looking at that and copying some stuff out to make some dialogues and fill in an area. But it's not yeah, it ends up being kind of a messy, slow manual process that has lots of problems. That's why you find like weird inconsistencies in stories in games constantly because multiple people writing stuff and then multiple other people importing that stuff into the game, cutting and pasting, creating the dialogue trees and all that crap. So I think something like this could definitely be I mean, you might end up with weirder characters, I don't know, but it seems like you could do some really cool stuff with that. Let's see what else you got in chat though. Let's scroll through. Oh, somebody said the stream quality is low. That is possible. Let me check. What is it set to? Sometimes for some reason the stream like it just resets to 720p. I have to change it and I have no idea why it happens. Let's see settings, video. Yeah, it literally went to 480. There we go. How's that? Let's go to 1080p. Use a 4K camera and do the lowest possible resolution you can have, huh? Is that better? You can see detail now, hopefully. All right. Okay, let's see what else we've got in chat here. Learning about how to use, yeah. Learning, I would say that if you're not learning how to use the AI stuff, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You should definitely go play with it. Everybody that I've showed it to who's actually like spent 10, 15 minutes playing with it now just loves it and likes to use it for all kinds of stuff. So I highly recommend you get in there and just start playing with it. So what do we got here? Sorry, is there a model for AI output outside of Adobe's demo? There's the one that we're waiting on, and hopefully it comes up, is this Solus Vision one. So they've got on their homepage, you can see the demo. They do a little generation of a 3D truck. I have no idea what the final version's like, but I'm hoping I've got the Discord up in the side. hoping to see that come live and be available for us during the stream today. If not, then we'll play with it this weekend or as soon as it's available, and then make a video about it. But I'm really hoping that it's available soon, so we can just hop in and start generating some cool stuff because I think that's going to be freaking amazing. Let's see. Oh, okay. So in world with microphone on. That's the one that I just had up. This one, I could totally see that chatting with these characters because you'd actually be able to talk with the mic on. Um, yeah, maybe I should try that. Let's try it. Chat with the character. Let's chat with the first one here, the fortune teller. We'll turn the mic on, see if it works. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Can you all hear the audio? I wasn't talking to you, fortune teller. I'm talking to the audience and asking them if they can hear you talk. You guys can't hear her talking. She's just blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. Um, let's I don't know if I can turn on her audio. Let me see. I don't think I can. Let me check. No. It's not set up for that yet. So, right now, she's listening to me, and, it's yeah, she keeps answering everything I say. So she'll just keep talking back. I'm gonna turn her off. She's just talking and talking and talking, and, all I can hear is what she's saying, and I have no idea what to say. But it does seem pretty cool. Get in here and start talking to this thing. Oh, let's turn off the microphone. There we go. We'll stop blabbing back and forth. Okay, let's that is definitely neat. I gotta play with that. Alright, so what do you think of the new coherence network? Let's pull that up. Pull this up and take a quick peek at it and talk about it. I'm not sure I remember which one this is. Interesting. Turn a multiplayer project into a single player into multiplayer fast. What does this one do? Interesting. They've got a lot of pretty graphics on here and a lot of the keywords that I'd like to see. I'm not completely sure. It looks a little bit interesting. I'm trying to figure out the details. How does this thing work? Go take a peek at the documentation real quick. It's just telling how to import it and stuff. No, I'm curious. I don't know exactly how this one differs. Initially, it looks like it's trying to kind of be somewhat like what Photon did, where it syncs all of the stuff, but it looks like it's probably trying to do a little bit more. It's wrapping into addressables. Yeah, I'm not sure. It does look interesting. I feel like it's something that I'm gonna need to take a deeper look at, though. Has anybody here played with the this coherence package? I haven't used it myself, so I don't want to say anything either way. But it does seem it looks like a reasonable network setup. It's got a lot of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, let's see what everybody in chat says. What do you? Oh, here's another question. I don't. be great to have an AI that turns a single player game into a multiplayer game. I agree. Like I said, I haven't used this one. I have used the new Unity system though, the netcode for game objects, which is the new Unity API for networking, and it's pretty good. It's actually quite a bit better than I'd expected, and it seems I'm pretty sure that they're going to be I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be making some significant improvements to it to make it be a very, very good option going forward. So it's something that I'm definitely looking at. But I'm also curious at about this coherence one. And Fishnet too is another really interesting networking library. But this coherence one seems slightly different. It seems bigger. I got to check this out. And oh, okay. So we got at least one person actually understands what they're doing with coherence, so they seem to like it, which is cool. Okay, let's take there was another question up here. I want to answer this one. It says, what do you imagine will be achievable in 10 years in terms of game AI? My expectation is that getting 2D and 3D art is going to be relatively simple. It's going to be an easy thing that you just kind of get the stuff that you want. And if you want a better version of it, you might actually have to talk to a person. But the general versions of 2D and 3D stuff that look the same and fit into a theme will be relatively easy to get for cheap or free. There will probably be some cheap services that do a really good job and free services that do an okay job, is my guess. Um, I think that also the game development side, like the coding side, I don't know that in 10 years it's going to be completely replaced, but I think that there will definitely be things like Roblox that are AI driven instead, where you're instead just telling it, what kind of game thing you want, and it's building it inside of that environment. And I think that, you know, I don't know about 10 years, but maybe 20 years we'll have that for just full on game stuff. I mean, I'm terrible at predicting stuff and timelines and all that. And who knows, maybe in 10 years, games won't even exist anymore because the whole world will fall apart. I have no, no freaking clue. But I think that the way that the speed that I'm seeing the tech advance, I could totally see systems that allow you to build a full on game or at least a full game inside of a sandbox environment. Just by typing out the instructions and having the AI generate it. I can totally see that. I'm sure there are probably multiple people and companies, startups that are already kicked off going about building that process. And in 10 years, some of them will definitely have have some success. So there's also a comment here. In 10 years, every character will be custom, every level, story, everything in some games. Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. They'll have lots of interesting generated stuff, and not you won't have the repeated generic standard NPCs laying around. Again, it's going to be in some games. Some games are still going to do same exact stuff. I mean, some games come out today and they still repeat and copy things from games 40 years ago. So there's going to be a mix, of course, but so let's see. I'm not sure in 5 years, even if we could have a proper 3D mesh because they're pretty messy now, but who knows? Yeah, I think 5 years will definitely have proper good 3D meshes. I struggle to see proper good 3D meshes that animate and stuff, but it's probably going to happen. I mean, I didn't think they could do it for 2D stuff, so I can't imagine that it's going to be that much harder for 3D. But I don't really understand or know the details, so who knows? All right. Are we going to reach a point where you only play one game your whole life? I certainly hope not. That would be kind of boring and probably not nearly as much fun, even if it is the one that auto generates. I mean, maybe that's what we're in right now and we just don't know it, or in some video game like The Matrix. AI driven open world NPC behavior in MMOs? Yeah, that's totally what I could see that. I mean, maybe not complete behavior at first, but at least handling, it's like day-to-day tasks. The NPC goes and does the thing, the NPC talks to people, goes, does the job, and kind of goes back and forth, but doing it with some of the newer AI techniques instead of simple state machines and behavior trees and stuff. Let's see what else we got here. I've got a concern about AI. I think nowadays they're giving us access to all these awesome tools, but they'll eventually turn them into expensive monthly programs like Photoshop. Oh, yeah, they will. I mean, I don't know that that it'll happen for all of the AI stuff, but my expectation is that the top of the line and best AI stuff will be paid, and then everybody else will have access to the older, last year's version or whatever that some other company has got and is trying to catch up and compete. Yeah, I completely expect that to happen too. What else we got here? Do you think AI will close the gap between AAA titles and indie games in terms of how much a small team can create, or how much a small team can create compelling and more ambitious games while keeping the vision? Yeah, without a doubt, it's going to help. It's going to bring that so that a smaller studio can do more. It's obviously not going to make it so that every indie has all of the capabilities of a AAA studio, because AAA studios don't just have access to the art and that pipeline and stuff. They also have developers who they have bigger teams of developers who are all specialized at specific things and really good at those things and have been working on them for quite a while. Usually where the indie teams have quite a few less developers, and you're probably not going to have the people that are specializing in all of the different types of things. So, I mean, when you get into a AAA game, you can have one guy that's just specialized in your horse animations if you want. You can really kind of dial that in and get specializations on any type of thing all the way down and do a little bit more. But it's definitely going to make it a whole lot easier so that you can do most of the stuff. Just it's still probably not all of it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Hmm. Do you think AI creativity would become better than human? I think it depends on the human. Like AI creativity is probably already better than a good chunk of humans. I don't know that it's going to be better than all of them. It reminds me. I read this stat yesterday. Was the day before yesterday that terrified the crap out of me. That I think it said 50 or 55% of people in the United States read below a 6th grade level. So I'm going to say that 55% are probably already getting beat by AI. I mean, that's a freaking terrifying number. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be better than some. And I think it's to be honest, I think that right now ChatGPT is better at writing documents for certain types of documents than a lot of people who are paid to do them professionally. It does a better job of writing and conveying and getting info across than a lot of people who have a job to professionally write those documents. It's not always accurate, and you don't have somebody to blame when they're wrong, but yeah, it's still, I'd say, doing a better job. And when there's a statement here, define better. I've seen them side by side. So, like, I see a document, and I don't want to go into the details because I don't want to blast anybody. I've seen documents written by specific companies on things that need to be submitted to the government, and then I've seen the AI generated version of it, and the AI generated version reads better, handles the details better, and is instant too. It just makes more sense. It doesn't have any mistakes, or at least the one that I saw didn't have any mistakes. So I've seen a big difference there. Also, just to have it write a resume, have it go write you a cover letter, and ask it to write you a cover letter for a specific job. Paste that in there, and then compare that to cover letters that you've seen. Maybe you can write a better cover letter, but I've seen a lot of terrible cover letters. Like, hey, my name is Jason. I want a job because I need to make some money, and my mom said I'm going to get kicked out soon. So you should hire me because I'm really good. I've seen cover letters that are worse than that. Like, and you can again have it just write you really good stuff. And in that case, it would be more like a career advisor writing your stuff. I think that if you're going to go to a career advisor, drop your stuff into Chat GPT first too. Or if you're going to submit any document, maybe drop it in there, see what you get back. It's getting good. It's kind of crazy. All right. Let's see this next one. I've recently been looking for a job in game dev or related with no luck, declined, mostly at the final interview stages. The feedback is rare and vague, so it's starting to get to me. I have good experience, almost 10 years, but I'm starting to question a lot of the knowledge I built over the years. How do I know if I'm actually wrong and what else I have to learn? So, the first thing I would do is before you even get rejected, or if you happen to get the rejection while you're at the interview, ask them why. Don't ask them in like an upset, angry tone or anything like that. Just say, hey, um, I totally understand. I'm just curious, like, can you give me some advice on the things that I'm missing or the things that you think I should work on for, because I'm be interviewing again. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things, and that you're getting the fixing the right problems. Because if you're having a problem and the parts are at the final interview stage, it's either going to be a technical thing where they think that you're missing some technical skills, and it could just be that you're not communicating those technical skills properly, or it could be just some sort of a personality fit where you're having a hard time communicating to them that you'll be good to work with, that they're actually going to enjoy working with you. So, a couple things that I would recommend here. Well, first is, of course, the one I was already talking about. Make sure that when you get rejected, you talk to them and ask them what the reasons were. If they have any specific feedback, if there was just like, they're like, hey, well, it was really this question. Like the fact that you didn't know the answer to this one question was kind of a disqualifier because that's a big part of our thing. And it could be something that maybe you do understand and you just didn't communicate it properly or something, and you'd be ready for it in the next time. But a lot of the time, they're going to give you probably a couple little things. They'll give you some good advice, and it might even give you a job offer after you talk through the different things. But I would say that that's going to be the first thing and the best thing, because you're going to get the advice directly from the people who are saying no. But some just more general advice when you're going into one-on-one or in-person interviews like this and you're at the kind of the end part. I highly recommend that you do a lot of research on the people that you're actually interviewing with. Make sure that if there are videos of them talking online, watch those videos, understand who they are, what they care about, and what they talk about, because it's going to help you get through those interviews a lot better. It's going to help you um, understand the person better and communicate with the person better, and maybe possibly find some things in common that will help them feel like you're going to be a better fit inside of the company. Um, yeah. I don't know. Also, other than that, make sure they're dressed right and all that stuff for the job, cleaned up, teeth brushed and all that. But I mean, this is kind of all the normal obvious things. And it sounds like you're getting past the resume phase and you're getting into the interview. I'm curious if you're still here. Are there any is there like specific feedback that they're giving you or anything that they're telling you when they're not giving you these positions? Because I wonder if there's more we can talk about and go on to from there. So are Chat GPT images digitally signed? Well, Chat GPT doesn't do the images, but Mid Journey and the OpenAI, what is it, like their Da Vinci thing? I forget the name. Um, I don't know if those do any digital signature in there or not. I know the file name has to go it, but I haven't actually looked. Um, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know that it would have somebody's location necessarily because you're generating it through Discord. Um, it probably isn't storing that. It's probably just got the hash or whatever the key for generating it. Let's see what else we got here. Uh, League of Legends uses AI to profile their players and tailor content to sales, maximize profit. I think most games do that. They're not using well, maybe they are now, but before they weren't using the generalized machine learning stuff that they use a lot now. But there's always been lots of data and AI around profiling players and kind of maximizing sales. I'm not surprised at all though if they start to actually bring in some more general AI for that, because that's the core of the business, right? And maximize profit. It's like the main part of the company. So that's probably what they'll do. If they're not already using it. It sounds like they probably are though. Let's see. What does this one say? Do you know why sometimes AAA games with huge budgets have worse textures or lack of detail in other detailed aspects in the game in comparison to smaller semi-indie games? Largely because with those smaller semi-indie games, the people that are working on them, it's a small set of people who care a lot about every specific part of the game. They care about the specific texture quality on that level or in that one little room on this one little freaking box. They want it to be perfect. Where when you get into a AAA company, you might have 50 or 100 artists and 50 or 100 designers. They're working on all kinds of stuff, and this one little box in a room that people barely ever look at is not anywhere near the top list of their priorities because they've got a giant list of stuff to do. And they also don't have the freedom to just go like, oh, this thing isn't perfect, I want to go fix it, because they've got a whole bunch of other things that they're doing instead. And they don't really generally have that. As the team scales up, the ability to just go in and randomly do whatever you want and fix the things that you don't like or fix the things that are issues starts to disappear, and it turns into a, I can submit these and then they'll get prioritized, and if it's high enough, then I can go do it. Now, of course, there are going to be some things where they're just like, oh, whatever, I'm going to go fix this anyway, and it happens a lot. But you're going to find that they do it a lot more on an indie game. That process is gone. You don't have to worry about it. You just go in and fix it. With the bigger games, they're going to do it for some stuff, but there's going to be lots of little things here and there where somebody wants to go fix it, but they don't have time for it, or they want to go fix it and then they left and went to some other job. Somebody else came in, doesn't even think about or know about that one little thing. It's largely just a manpower and scaling issue with people coming in and out and being able to keep track of that. If you have somebody who's super hardcore and super attention to detail on all of that stuff, that's kind of managing it and over the top of it, you can reduce and minimize and maybe even get rid of that. But most of the time, there's just so much to do on those bigger games that getting down to those small little details every now and then, they just get missed. That's pretty much what I've seen, at least. So, is there any AI for 2D sprite sheet animation? I don't know, but if there is, please somebody share it in chat because I would like to see. I want to check and see if this one's up yet. Nope, coming soon still. All right. Let's see. Oh, some advice. Study design patterns. That's good. Oh, explain dress right. So if you're going into a game dev job, um, I think in general, the rule I've always heard and kind of stick by, and I think it works pretty well, is dress kind of one level up from the job that you're going in to apply for. So if the job that you're going in to apply for, they wear like jeans and a t-shirt, then wear some slacks and a little button-up shirt or something. If you're going in for a job where they wear slacks and a button-up shirt, come in a suit and tie. Come in nice and fancified. And it you kind of want to just be a little bit, I guess, like I said, one level up. And if you're going to wear something that's um, kind of themed and game devy, which you can do it to a game job. You could wear like a t-shirt that's a video game one, but make sure that you wear one that's appropriate, that doesn't have like a half naked girl with a sword going through a demon or something crazy. Like, wear something that's appropriate. That you could wear to a wedding, maybe not a wedding, but that you could wear to somewhere that it matters, because it does matter. Well, you want to wear something that's relatively chill, and maybe something that if you happen to have a shirt of a game that they worked on, you could wear that or something. But you want to generally dress nice, clean. Yeah, pretty much it. And do your hair, shave, if you shave, or trim it up. And obviously personal hygiene, huge thing. I've definitely seen people come into interviews before where they were dirty and smelly, and they weren't, I mean, you could tell, like, they come in and, like, if you can smell the person when they walk in the door and you're sitting across the room, they're not getting hired. Like, they've just like wasted their own time coming in there, because nobody wants to work with you if they can smell you from across the room, right? And if you can't be bothered to clean up before the interview, I'm not saying that the person in question is doing that, but I'm saying that this happened in the past for sure. Where I've seen that. So you want to make sure that nice and cleaned up, dressed nicely. You don't want to super overdress. If you go into a game studio and you're wearing a suit and tie, it's probably going to be a little bit too much. But you also don't want to go in in your dirty old clothes. Wear something nice. Your button-up shirt, your slacks, and some fancy shoes or something. I literally have one pair of slacks and one pair of shoes that are not tennis shoes that I had for interviews. They're the same one that I've had for like 15 years. So it's not the best outfit, but it's yeah, something I recommend. I have wedding attire for a job interview. That is yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I go with. The same thing that I wear, not to your own wedding, but like if you're going to attend a wedding and you're just kind of in the background, you're not, nobody's paying attention to you. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, you're gonna wear like some nice pants, a nice shirt, probably not a suit, because you're, unless you're like in part of that bridal party, or you like to wear a suit. But most game developers I know don't even like to wear pants, let alone a suit. So I would say just a nice button-up shirt, some nice ironed, clean, straight pants that are clean and not smelly, and nice, clean shoes. They don't have to be amazing shoes. They can be some nice, like, $20 relatively cheap shoes. They don't have to be a perfect fit, but just some shoes that are not beat up, dirty tennis shoes. That's my general recommendation. Oh, and yes, shower that day and ideally every day. Yes. Also, how you go on a date. Yeah, so it's very much like how you would go on a date, except you might want to dress even a level higher. Or on a date, you might be more willing to be comfortable, depending on the date. Let's see, dress with a pair of flip flops and a Hawaiian t-shirt. I mean, to be honest, you could definitely get a job in flip flops and a Hawaiian t-shirt at a game dev studio if you're really good and all of your other stuff is pushing. Because people aren't going to care too much if you're clean and nice. Although I generally recommend wearing socks and shoes. Because there's occasionally going to be somebody who really hates feet and gets freaked out, and wants to disqualify you because they saw your feet. Like, but yeah. All right. What else we got? Unbuttoned shirt and hairy chest. Yeah, that's one way to go. Yeah, or the wedding. Yeah, the outfit you wear to the wedding where you're invited but kind of hate the person. Yeah, that's when you show up without the pants. So let's see, what's this next question here? Trying to catch up on them. Does Unreal have a brighter future than Unity? Which one to learn in 23? I don't think so. I think Unreal has been around for a very long time. It's been around since in the 90s, and Unity is a little bit newer. Unity is pretty close to catching up on a lot of stuff and ahead on a lot of other things. So I think that if you're working in AAA and you want to work at a AAA company and they're using Unreal, you should definitely learn Unreal. If they're using a custom engine that uses C++, you should probably also get into Unreal because that's likely where they're going to jump to. If they're not, though, and they're using Unity, then yeah, I would use Unity. And if you're not going to one of those AAA companies right now, either one's a great option, but I personally prefer using Unity. I just like the engine more. But I am kind of biased too because I've been pretty heavily into it for quite a while. So I may not be the right person to ask that question. I have a whole YouTube channel focused on teaching primarily Unity stuff. So let's see what else. Is there anything else? Crocs with socks. There we go. No shirt, no shoes, no job. Yeah, that's for, at least for most jobs. There's probably a couple where you can get by with no shirt and no shoes, but not most game development jobs. To be fair, I've seen lots with no shoes. All right. Well, I think we're running out of questions, and my wife is already starting to call me. So I'm gonna start to wrap stuff up. Let me just double check that Solace Vision's not back up yet. Doesn't look like it. So maybe later this week, as soon as this comes up, I'll do a video and release it and talk a little bit about what I found. But I recommend you go grab the alpha. They have a closed alpha sign up. I thought it was going to be down already, but it looks like it's still there. So go sign up for that. Go check it out. Also, I've got a whole bunch of stuff linked down in the description. There's the Game Dev Guild conference. Go sign up for that. Get the alerts about it if you're interested in joining or speaking. Go grab the Kickstarter for Strain and check out the Lunar New Year bundle. And then again on I think it'll be Monday. It might do it before, but probably Monday, and release info about the new coursework stuff, this upcoming bootcamp in February. If you're interested in that, just make sure that you're on my email list, which I assume you probably are if you're watching and joining us live. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here, say goodbye, and thanks to everybody. Please like, subscribe, and share the stream. And if you have questions, comments, or thoughts, please just drop them down in the comments as soon as the stream ends, because I'm curious what people are thinking about, especially with this AI stuff. Plus, it also really helps with the YouTube algorithm, so helps there. All right, thanks again, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.